A couple weeks ago, I shared with you guys how I lost my entire Nintendo 64 collection. Well, today, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to share with you how my best friend actually used me for my video games. Hey guys, VanBjorn20 back again with another story from my childhood. This story I've kept secret my entire life. My own mother who raised me don't even know about this story. My wife has no idea. All my best friends don't know. I really wouldn't tell anyone this. I can't believe I'm actually making a video about it. But as you guys know, over the past couple weeks, I've been pretty much opening up to you guys, sharing you guys a little bit more personal information about my life. And honestly, it feels good to talk about certain things. And I figured I'd just let you guys in. This happened years ago back in elementary school, like I said. And it's a friend that I thought was like my dearest and best friend. And it turned out that he pretty much just used me for video games. And let me just tell you guys a little backstory. As you guys know, like I mentioned in one of my other videos a couple weeks ago, that I was known as the Nintendo kid growing up. I had a crazy Nintendo collection. My Nintendo 64 collection was just sick. This was back in, I think, 3rd or 4th grade, so I want to say about this time. The Nintendo 64 was just coming out. I had a crazy Super Nintendo collection as well. And we had a new kid come in class. So a new kid was in the class, and he just moved into town, and he sat next to me. We had our desks right next to each other. Didn't really know the guy. Guys, I was kind of awkward as a kid growing up. I had friends, but like I wasn't outgoing like I am today. Like today, I'll just talk to anyone, I don't care. But back then, I was a little shy, honestly. I didn't really talk too much in elementary school. Obviously, as I grew up into high school, I completely did a 180. But I remember this guy, and I'm going to keep his name. I'm just gonna call him my friend because I don't want to leak. Like I want this. I don't want no privacy issues here. I don't want people, because I'm sure some of my friends are gonna watch this from school, and I don't want people to know who I'm talking about. Obviously, if they were good friends of mine, once they hear this story, they can probably piece it together and figure it out. But I am definitely gonna keep his name out of it. So basically, my friend sits down. I meet him for the first time, and he's drawing, and I'm just kind of doing my schoolwork, and he's just doodling on this paper, and he's drawing like someone from like Street Fighter. It's like some game character. I think it's Street Fighter, and I was just blown away. Like for how old we were, I just thought it was so impressive how good he was. Like he was an amazing artist. So I remember looking down and saying, "Wow, man, that's great." I'm like, "Are you like video games? Or are you just like drawing video game characters and stuff?" He's like, "Oh no, dude, I love video games." I'm like, "Dude, that's sweet." So we start talking about video games, and that's kind of how we, started our friendship off. Just talking about video games, and that's pretty much all we talked about. And we just kind of bonded there, and just kid stuff, like we became friends. And at the time, he was like, I consider him one of my best friends. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of friends in the early elementary school days. So we hung out, and obviously I invited him over to play games. He came to my room, and he was like blown away, could not believe some of the stuff that he was seeing. Because like I said, guys, I had a lot of stuff, and a lot of kids back then, their parents didn't let them have that kind of stuff. Like I said, if you guys are wondering how I was able to get all this stuff, I'm not going to repeat myself. Just watch the how I lost my entire Nintendo 64 collection video. I'll leave a link below if you are interested. But he came over. It was hard to get him to leave. I mean, obviously, any kid that is able to play games like that, they don't want to leave. And it was cool. I mean, I had someone to play games with. It was a lot of fun. And he'd come over probably every other weekend. He'd spend the night every once in a while. We'd play games all night. It was typical kid stuff. Well, eventually, I get invited to his house, and he asked me, he's like, "Hey, can you bring your Nintendo 64 over?" I'm like, "Oh, sure, no problem." I didn't think of it. And guys, just to give you a little backstory, okay? Don't think I'm weird, but I'm very, very overprotective of my stuff. I take very good care of my stuff, and I'm really anal about it. Like it's almost like OCD. Like I'm constantly like cleaning the screen, like my Nintendo Switch. I'm constantly like got a microfiber cloth, and I'm like cleaning the screen to get the smudges off. I just take really good care of my stuff. The same thing was with my systems back then. I was dusting them off. I was just making sure they were in pristine condition. And so I take it over there, and I pack it all up, put it in this box. And if you guys remember back then, it was a pain in the butt. I mean, the power bricks were huge. I mean, it's not like the Switch. The Switch is really mobile, so it's easy to take it to a friend's house. Back then, you had the cords. You had like it was a mess. So took it over there, put it in this box, and I'm already kind of having anxiety. Like, oh crap, man, I have my Nintendo 64 out of its home, and like you guys know, like I'm kind of like, man, this kind of sucks. I kind of regret bringing it. So I bring it over, and we hook it up, and it's all good and everything. And his brother was like kind of really aggressive with the controller, and kind of like, I don't know. He wasn't doing it on purpose, and I don't know if it was just all in my head. Like I said, it was very protective of all my stuff. So I just noticed, I just kept looking at his brother, and he's really aggressive with the controllers, and I felt like he was kind of like rough with the system, and it was kind of irritating me. I was kind of like, man, I hope he doesn't break it. It's really gonna, piss me off, So, I kept my cool. I'm like, okay, that's cool. We played all night, whatever. Packed it up. I took it home. And then I want to say about a week or two later, he invites me over again. I'm like, okay, cool. And he's like, hey, bring your Nintendo 64 again. And I'm like, oh, okay. And honestly, deep down, guys, I'm going to be honest. I don't know if this makes me a bad person. I didn't really want to bring it, okay? It was just a hassle to bring it the first time. You had to unhook everything. You have to haul it there. Then I have to kind of worry about, because like I said, guys, I kind of like OCD. I was worrying about it the entire time. I couldn't really enjoy myself because I was worried about my system the entire time. How pathetic does that sound, honestly? It's just so pathetic. Don't judge me, guys. That's just, I take really good care of my stuff, and I just worry about things I probably shouldn't worry about. And then I just remember his brother, how he was kind of rough with my system and everything. So I was like, man, I forgot it, okay? I purposely left it, okay? I didn't want to bring it over. And then he asked me, he's like, oh, where's the Nintendo 64? And I said, oh, dude, I forgot it. And I'll be the first one to admit I didn't really forget it. I just didn't want to bring it, honestly. I just did not want to have to worry about it. I did not want to have that on my mind. I just wanted to enjoy myself. Because, guys, his parents actually owned this really cool shop right next to his house where they sold like four-wheelers, snowmobiles, a lot of cool stuff in there. And his parents sometimes would let us, get the four-wheeler out. It was a lot of fun. It was really a lot of fun. And that's what I wanted to do. I mean, we play games all the time. I kind of wanted to maybe hop on a four-wheeler, do something else, besides play games all the time. But he was just so bummed out that I did not bring my Nintendo 64. He was furious. He was really mad. He's like, oh man, did you really? He's like, hey, can you call your mom or dad and see if they can maybe bring your Nintendo 64 over or something like that? And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to call my dad or mom because they probably don't honestly know how to unhook it. If they do unhook it, they're probably gonna forget like the power cable or they're gonna forget something. I'm like, it's just gonna be a mess. I don't want to have them have to come all the way back over here. And I'm like, I just don't think it's worth it, man. And he's like, oh man, he was like really bummed out about it the entire night. And then that's when I was kind of like, man, really? Like, I mean, we play games all the time. I mean, you're gonna live. That's what I'm thinking. Like, man, just relax. So that kind of like left a bad taste in my mouth right there. And he was really aggressive about it. So then the next day, it's no big deal, whatever. We had a good time, and next weekend comes by, and he's like, hey, can he asked if he can come over to my house? I'm like, that's fine. He comes over, we play, and I know it's always Nintendo and like just games in general. I mean, then I'm kind of getting burned out. We're playing so much, okay? I can't believe I'm saying that. You guys know I love games, but we play so much, I'm kind of getting burned out. I want to get out and do other things, like what friends normally do. And then finally, a couple weeks go by, he invites me over to his house. He's like, hey, bring your Nintendo 64. And he was like stern about it. Bring your Nintendo stuff, bring this. Almost like giving orders, like bring this, bring that. And finally, I was like, nah, dude, I don't want to bring it. I was just being honest with him. I said, dude, it's kind of a pain in the butt unhooking everything. And I even told him, I said, dude, I have this thing where I worry about my stuff, and I'm like, I honestly can't enjoy myself. I like literally just opened up and said, dude, I just really don't want to worry about it. It's a pain in the butt, unhooking it, rehooking it. I said, I just don't want to do it, man. I said, it costs a lot of money. I have a lot of things invested in this. I just don't want to do it, man. Because he wanted me to bring like a ton of games over too, like a ton of games, like almost my whole library. It was nuts, dude. Like what he wanted me to bring over. It was ridiculous. Like a whole suitcase full of stuff. So I was like, so he was really, really crappy about it. Like he was upset, and obviously I still came over. He didn't want to like uninvite me because he already invited me, because that would make him look bad. So I just noticed the entire time I was over there, it's like, it just seemed like he was upset with me, like kind of pissed off. And I could feel it. You can feel it when when you're friends with somebody and there's a rift there, they're mad at you. You can feel it. The same thing with anything. You know when someone's upset with you, and I could just feel it. I'm like, man, I cannot believe just by me not bringing the stupid Nintendo over here, he's this mad. Like those red flags were going off. Let's just put it that way. Well, I want to say maybe 2-3 weeks later, he has a big party, pizza, ice cream, invites some friends over. And guess who didn't get invited? Okay, guys, I know this sounds really petty. It really does. This sounds so petty, okay, that who cares I didn't get invited, right? But we were supposed to be like best friends. So I'm like, I knew something wasn't right here. I'm like, this guy had pizza and stuff over his house, didn't invite me over. This is weird. Like, what gives? You know what I mean? Like, what the heck? So he finds out that I find out about it, and he made up some excuse. I don't know what it was exactly, but what I do remember is when I walked away, he thought I was gone, but I wasn't gone. I was sitting right behind him, and I could just hear him pretty much trashing me to his new best friend, or whoever it was at the time. I forget the kid's name, but the guy that he was hanging out with. Who knows? Maybe he was using this guy for something. I don't know. People do it, guys. They do it all the time. People use people for things all the time. But yeah, he was basically talking to this guy, and was like just trashing me. Like, yeah, he's like, I was, he just. I don't even. I'm just gonna say he was trashing me. Okay, and that was it. Once I heard everything he was saying, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna hang out with this guy anymore. And I'm gonna be honest, I went home. I was really hurt. He would call me. He's like, hey, we're gonna hang out this weekend. Can I come over? And at this point, I know he just wants to come over to play games. He could care less about our friendship. I mean, from what he said, I already know he could care less, guys. I'm not gonna go into the details or the specifics of what he said. Honestly, I'm pretty sure you could guess. He just, I was a chubby kid, let's just put it that way. There was some fat jokes in there. There was some things you shouldn't say about your friend. You could just tell that he was using me for the video game. Really did get to me. I just want to let you guys know, if anyone's watching this right now, I don't know who is watching this, but if you are bullying anybody in school, or you're talking bad about anybody, I just want to let you know, I'm 34 years old. 34 years old. This happened way back in elementary school. Okay, I'm 34. Still remember it like it was yesterday. Okay, and it's still, honestly, I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but it still honestly affects me. It really did. I thought we were really good friends, and then to hear somebody talk like that about you, when you really look up to this person, or you're really good friends with this person, it does something to you, and then you'll heal over time, but the scar will remain. So just remember that. Be kind to people in school. You know what I'm saying? Just take my advice here, guys. It happens, and it happens a lot. So guys, I just want to let you know, thank you for listening to this drawn out story. Basically the story goes where we don't talk anymore, and that's it. That's pretty much how it ends. I did meet this guy. I did see this guy about 4 years ago. So very recent. And we didn't talk much. We just said hi, blah, blah, blah. We just friendly. To this day, I don't think he knows that I heard what he said. To this very day, I honestly don't think he knows. All he knows is that I stopped inviting him over, and when he did ask me, I told him no, and I kind of just cut him off. I kind of didn't talk to him anymore, and he never really asked any questions. He might have put two and two together, but to this day, I don't think he knows, unless he's watching this video now. I don't think he knows that I heard what he said, but I definitely heard what he said, and I still remember it to this day. So thank you guys for listening, guys. Please leave a comment below and share a story if you had something similar like this happen to you in the past, or anything else. And as always, guys, I love you guys. And that's pretty much all for right now, and there'll be more to come shortly. Thanks again.